Alright, so I'm here with Kayla Ratz with Spruce Field of Dreams, and we are going to talk about how you can windowsill garden in the winter.
Sure, yes. So starting your seeds at home can be really intimidating, but it doesn't need to be. I would always recommend picking something that you know you like, first of all. And so don't try to overdo it if it's your first time. I have onions here, which are super easy to grow at home. They require little to no work, especially to get started. So you can have green onions on your windowsill. If you want them to develop into full onions, you can then transplant them into your garden. So a good rule of thumb that I always like to remember about starting seeds is that you never bury a seed more than it is thick. Okay, so a lot of people think they can't start seeds because they probably buried them too deep. So all you have to do with onion seeds are so tiny. I don't even cover these more than, I sprinkle like a little layer on, and I do not even cover them more than just like mixing the top layer of dust on top. That's all it takes.
Just like a little pinch of dirt on top.
Just a little pinch of dirt.
Okay.
Important to use, I like using some kind of like organic soils, but you can use whatever you want. I'm not picky for you. I like to keep, when I start my seeds, I like to keep them moist with a spray bottle. It doesn't displace the seeds, and an important thing to do is make sure your seeds are wet the entire time until they germinate, so until they sprout up. Otherwise, they're not going to grow if they dry out. So that's really important. They don't require a ton of light to sprout. Onions don't, so as long as you get like a good amount of sun in your window, they'll sprout for you.
Awesome. And so can you name some of the different kinds of things that you could also plant other than onions?
Sure. On your windowsill, there's only so much space, I'm aware, but it's easy to grow herbs. I've also grown a tomato plant on my windowsill, no problem. Peppers are also an easy one. In the bigger trays, I normally like start them with like things for peppers, and bigger vegetables I use these kind of trays. Also, it does not take much dirt on top for a lot of these seeds. They're very tiny. A really helpful tool that we have also is a heat mat for beginner at-home gardens. The only requirement, like where I would use a heat mat, is like think to yourself, would the plant die if it got a frost? If the plant would not die, then you don't need to use a heat mat. But if it would, like a tomato plant or a pepper plant, an eggplant, the heat mat will speed along germination. It's not necessary, but it is a nice piece of equipment to make your things germinate faster.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about the lights that you can also use. Is that for all kinds of plants for windowsills?
Yeah, and you know what? If you wanted to invest in a grow light, you wouldn't need to keep it on a windowsill. You can put it on a shelf anywhere in your home. And I mean, I would recommend putting a towel down so it doesn't get your shelf all wet when you're watering, but you can use any sort of shelf and place your plants underneath the grow light, and it'll work for that too.
Awesome. And so once we've watered the plant, what's the next step?
Patience. Patience is a really important step. Make sure you keep your seeds wet until they sprout up, and then you can kind of let them dry out for a day, water them, kind of on that cycle. But don't lose hope or patience. That's really key. People tend to give up on themselves if they don't see results very quickly.
And then you also talked about your program that you have during the summer to bring food to people for about 12 weeks.
Yes, it's a 12-week program. If you live in Alpena, Hubbard Lake, Spruce, Ossining, we will deliver a basket of vegetables to your home. You can actually add on a flower share if you'd like. Wow. So we do like flower bouquets, but it's a 12-week program, and you can actually sign up through our Facebook.
Awesome. Well, do you have any more fun tips for you actually mentioned that Michigan, it has really great soil and climate.
Yes, second only to California in the diversity of things that you can grow in the United States. Like Michigan really rocks for growing stuff.
So this is a great place to grow kind of whatever you want to grow, and you can do it outside during the summer, you can do it inside in your windowsill. Well, thank you so much,
Kayla,
Kayla, for meeting with me and showing me how to grow these windowsill plants.
Yeah, thanks for coming.